China. So some of you who might be new here, a lot of you, or if you've been here a while and you may have forgotten the reason why, I actually moved to China in 2015, and I've been here ever since. I just loved it. But I'll be very honest with you, the catalyst was my husband at the time. So we're not together anymore. But when I moved to China, it was because he initiated it. He had gotten his PhD to move to China. And I was like, you know what? I didn't want to come. I'll be honest. I'll be very honest with you. We were living in the Bahamas at the time, and we had been there 4 years. Yes, we'd been there 4 years. And he approached me and he was like, and I'll be honest, I'll be very honest with you about this. I was getting extremely comfortable with living in the Bahamas. The cost of living was extremely high, but I'd sort of made a life for myself there. I made friends there. I started building like a tutoring business there. I was going dancing with my friends and that I had made, and it was getting. I mean, I have a way, I think, of adapting to the environment that I'm living in at the time, and trying to figure out the best way for me to assimilate within the culture, right? And at that point in time, I feel as though I had started to figure out things. I'd figure out how to make money quite easily or easier than before, because when I first moved to the Bahamas, it was not that easy to get into the job market. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I applied for jobs to work as an engineer, and it just wasn't working out. So I started some little side hustles, doing photography, doing tutoring, and then I was also doing a web design course. Man, I was busy when I think about it. I was very busy. But my point is that I was trying to figure out how to make money, because I didn't want to have to rely on anyone. So that kind of kept me busy, and I was starting to build like a community there. So when my husband at the time, he approached me about living or moving to China, I was like, what hell no. And usually you're against change. Usually when you start to get comfortable, you start to think, okay, like, this is a whole new environment, moving to China. I don't know what it's going to be like there. I didn't know the language. I clearly didn't try at that point in time to learn the language. It was just like a mess. So I was like, nah. So he said to me, as far as I remember, he might have a different story. I don't know. But as far as I remember, he was like, well, go back to the Bahamas. And knowing him now, that was kind of manipulative. Um, so you can go back to Trinidad. Sorry, that's what he said. You can go back to Trinidad. And uh, the relationship with my family at that time, it wasn't so good, and I was not in a good place. I feel like in Trinidad at the time, I already see that I was starting to grow out of living in my home country. I had already felt that. I don't think I could have put my finger specifically on what it was exactly that I had grown past, but I knew if I had gone back home, well, we're married, so obviously I'm not going to go back home by myself, and he's going to China. It didn't make any sense, and he knew that. So when he said to me, oh, you can go back to Trinidad, he knew exactly what he was doing. But let's just say I figured out his ways eventually. But thankfully, I did decide to go. That's when I started to fast forward with looking for jobs. And it was like a race, because I also did not have my TEFL. That's like teaching English as a foreign language certification. I did not have that. I also didn't, or it's also called TESOL in some, depending on where you look. So there was a 100 hour, I think there was a 50-hour course, a a 100-hour course, and a 150 or 120-hour course. And the course that I did, I can't remember which specific course I did, but anyways, I think it was a 100-hour course. And when I did that course, it took a few months. It's self-paced. It was all online. And I think it took me about 3 months. And that was the average time most people take to do the course. So basically, yeah, I had to hurry up to get the course done because you couldn't apply for a job back then. And this is 2015 I'm talking about. The things that you need now to have a job in China is insane. I will go into that in another video, but let's just say a TEFL or TESOL or it's not enough, okay? It's not enough, and you need to have your stuff together now if you want. Back then, it was easy to get considered easy. I was reading like crazy. I was reading all these different what you call them, these forums, and there's this Dave's ESL cafe. I was all up in there trying to find a job. And remember, I didn't have my certification yet to teach English, so and I thought that's another topic for another day. But I thought the only thing that I can teach was English. So I was out there in these streets trying to finish the certification. I can't remember what month it was at that point in time, but the hiring season was almost done. So it would have been maybe May. That's late. If you want to try to get a job in China, that's very late because it takes about 3 months, especially if you're not, I don't know what it is like since the panorama, but it take back then it would take about 3 to 4 months to get all your paperwork done, and I didn't even finish the certification yet. So I was like in a race in a hamster wheel trying to get this course quickly done because some schools wouldn't accept you without this TEFL certification, and remember you have to go through the interview processes. I was interviewing like crazy, or they would just turn me down because I've never lived in China. That was another thing too. Because I had never lived in China before, it became very difficult to even just, you have to like penetrate the market. That's the best way I could explain it. You have to get in first. I tell people now when they ask me, because people ask me from time to time, like, how did you get a job? I was like, just get something, just get anything, get into China. Because one of the questions they asked me, a lot of them asked me was, have you ever lived in China before? And no, I've never visited. My ex-husband, well, my husband at the time, he had visited. So he knew what to expect, at least for some things. And so they were asking me questions about culture. How would you deal with this? And I was like, I don't know how. I tried my best to answer as best as I could based on whatever YouTube videos I was watching. And like guys, I was in a race to get a job because um, my husband was working on getting his paperwork sorted for the school, the university that he was going to study at and do his PhD. And eventually he was getting his stuff. His stuff was moving forward very quickly. And his intended date of leaving was August of that year. And I was probably still doing interviews. I don't know. I don't think I was still doing interviews. I think I got a job in like June or July or something because I didn't get in until, yeah, I think it's July I got the job. I didn't get into China until the first week of October. I remember because it was the holiday week. The China has a week of holiday the very first week of October, and I entered China that week in 2015. So, yes, I would have gotten that job around July and all the paperwork because they had to go back and forth they had to FedEx stuff to me from China for me to sign, and the school had to prepare my work permit and my work visa and my residence permit when I came to China. So, anyways, the whole point of this whole story was the title of the video, Why Did I First Move to China? So basically it was to be with my husband, really and truly, because I knew I wasn't going to be studying while here. And to be here with him, I figured the next best thing was to get a job. Now, the next option and my final, and thank God, I did not. In hindsight, obviously, maybe I had a little bit of foresight. But the other option to come to China, what do you think it was? What do you guys think it was? Post in the comments what you think The last option was I'll tell you. Anyways, I'll give you a little time to think about it though. It was to come on a spousal visa. Y'all, my mom told me, girl, it's a good thing you're ASS, not lazy. She's like, it's a good thing you're lazy because that would have put me in so much trouble. Stay tuned for that story another time. But yeah, coming on a spousal visa it would not have been a good idea. I'll tell you what that entails the next time I talk to you guys. But I hope you enjoy this live stream. I feel as though this is probably what I will do from now on with regards to the live streams. I will talk about how, why, when of certain situations. But make sure to leave comments below, drop a like if you enjoyed this live stream, and I'll try my best to do more, okay, guys? And watch my videos, my long form videos, man. I do, oh gosh, I really want to start. I really am enjoying vlogging. I'm enjoying vlogging and I'm enjoying posting the videos as well. I rewatched them and I'm laughing my head off. So I hope you guys are being entertained as much as I am when I rewatch the videos on my channel. Talk to you guys later. Bye.